MK2 was great and stuff, but I really didn't want us to just do the same game with prettier graphics.
We were always trying to one-up what we did. Like, obviously, MK1, we had the, you'd fall into the pit. Hey. And that was great. It was always asking the question, well, what can we do next?
Reptile wins.
MK3 was like, now we're going to knock you upwards. Now we're going to knock you downwards.
Right.
Certainly the visual qualities of the backgrounds changed over time quite significantly.
As the story took it, MK3 was based more on Earth.
.3D technology played a part.
I had been learning how to sculpt things in 3D. I created what became the subway, and I showed Ed, I'm like, hey, we could actually just, instead of like going out and videoing stuff and getting things out of books or whatever, or even just drawing them, we could actually build them in 3D with correct lighting and stuff like that. And it could even help us do the parallaxing if we wanted to. He was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's go that route. So a lot of the backgrounds, I would kind of build them in 3D, and then Tony would take that and draw on it and dress them up, make them look better from there.
There's a look that's missing. It looked kind of too plastic and toyish and simple, but it was great for a starting point. We would always touch up over it. That would give it its clean look. And one of the backgrounds that we started with 3D was the Soul Chamber. I always like a star in the background, and I just coined the name Soulnado for the souls inside the mouth, and I drew that in deluxe paint, frame by frame.
I did a drawing of this in 3D just so you can make it any size and any lighting, any angle you wanted. This is it's just ornamental, it's just like kind of a really neat background thing.
We would always in Mortal Kombat put in names, our names, hidden somewhere sometimes. And mainly it was the graveyard.
I'm sure that I probably designed in 3D the tombstones, and Tony probably drew in our names. A lot of that grass, and maybe even putting the background in there, like the sky and stuff. Dave Mikicic joined our team, and he knew about Photoshop. We hadn't heard about Photoshop. Photoshop was new. He took that city scene with Shao Kahn's fortress in the distance. What I gave was kind of stale. It was very stark. He added like haze and all kinds of cool atmosphere with Photoshop. We started using Photoshop a lot after that.
Once we get the digitized image, it's a lot like painting. And right now we're going through a process where we sort of filter the images through. We'll grab the image and Steve Moran will start and do some Photoshop on the guy, and then we'll hand him over to Tony, who does some touch-up. And then it gets passed over to me, and then I do some of this more detailed touch-up, and then I give it back to Steve, and he kind of separates the different colors and creates the different palettes, and then we give it back to Tony, and he does the final touch-up and stuff and gets it ready for the game. I'm working on a friendship move for Shigoro character, and that's her tentative name. She didn't have a real name yet. The move is she's got to turn around and she's going to pull out sort of plates and little sticks, and she spins the plates and the sticks and balances them on her hand, and she does this with her back towards you.
I remember wanting the characters to be a little bit smaller. The reason I wanted them a little smaller was so they can have more lateral motion to run.
I remember having that conversation in Ed's office because my first reaction was, wait, we should be getting bigger. It's
right.
Like, what do you mean smaller, The hardware, we can push more stuff, and we should be making them bigger. But it didn't last long. I think once the run button was in, you saw right away the value of the sprinting.
Round one, fight.
I wanted it to be more aggressive. I always felt like our walking was a bit slow, and that really was pushing for the run. To me, it feels weird when I play MK2. I feel like I'm in molasses. It's like, come on, I just want to move faster. So. We really loved to see players doing combos, but some players just couldn't uppercut somebody and then jump and then, you know, juggle them and do all these kind of. So we wanted something that was a little bit more mechanical, right? Like anybody can do 1-1-2 or something like that. Right, the whole dynamic of the game was just so aggressive. And some people were intimidated by that.
Finish him.
It was somewhat controversial. There was a guy who was a tech in our, you know, like where they would build the games. He was looking at it and he goes, you know, I don't know why you added the run button, you know, I don't know what that. And then, you know, fast forward 3 weeks.
Nightwolf wins.
He actually came by and said, you know, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, man. That thing was cool.
One day I was in the office at Playboy downtown Chicago, and the phone rang. It was Jack Hager, and he was looking for a couple cheerleaders for this game called NBA Jam. I had no idea how to cheerlead. I said I could, but I had no idea. It was great working with everybody, and then Jack invited me on to the next game, which was Revolution X. We were trying to develop Mistress Helga. He had an idea. He wanted to be like this mistress, you know, in leather, and I said, well, I got some ideas, you know, and I put a black wig on and put my Harley Davidson jacket on and black stretch pants. He added chains and put some labels on it, and he was just like perfect. And then that is how Mistress Helga developed. That was a blast. And then I just started working with Midway, you know, game after game. And they said that they needed a new Sonya and asked me if I'd like to do it. And I said, absolutely.
I think John one time was just walking by me in a hallway. He's like, "Hey Sal, you feel like being a character for, you know, Mortal Kombat 3?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
By the time we got to Mortal Kombat 3, we had a complete blue screen studio, professional lighting, professional cameras, a green room, dressing rooms for the actors.
Hey, get out of here, man.
Jack Hager put that all together. It was phenomenal.
Each capture session was 2 to 3 days. John and I would do the lighting. We always consistently had what we called a money light that just was a rim light. And we'd spend a lot of time doing that because there was no going back with the lighting.
Whenever you're making a game, you would record the data and then immediately check it in the tool to make sure the lighting was right, to make sure the size was right, and whatever.
The camera takes in the signal into our beta cam recorder, and we also run a signal into our PC. This is where we do the actual grabbing of frames to be digitized. We're able to click through frame by frame, delete the frames we don't want, keep the frames that we do like.
Once you had all that set, then you could start kind of rolling into the actual moves and then forget about the technical side of it.
When we started filming a character, we'd get into work probably roughly around 10 o'clock, and usually the whole filming process takes, you know, all day.
On average day of a 14-hour shoot, we came in, we got into makeup. It didn't take too long for Sonya. She doesn't wear much.
And then we have a list, a huge list of animations, kicks, punches, uppercuts, and then the special moves and stuff. Capturing every single frame of them performing these moves.
Neither Sal nor Carrie had martial arts
Background,
right? You know, they were super athletic.
I watched a lot of martial arts. I watched a lot of, you know, Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, and I studied like the theatrics of martial arts, but I didn't have the discipline.
Right, and my background was just gymnastics and boxing.
Sonya Blade, there she is. Yeah.
A little bit of WWF wrestling.
Oh, jeez. That's no way to begin a demonstration. I think Sonya is in a little trouble here. She's being tied to a dog.
So I was more into the falls and the suplexes and that kind of stuff.
There was this tomboyish quality to her that doesn't come across when you see her.
Yeah.
And then once you work with her, you realize, holy crap, she's going to do everything we need and more.
Yeah.
Probably the hardest thing about doing any of the moves is you had to start and finish in the same spot.
And that was the main thing, is getting back into idle, getting back into idle. They wanted all the follow through. They wanted all the momentum, but they wanted all that power to come all the way through, like, you know, but then you had to always get back into idle pose, and that was the main thing.
I remember I added like the scrunchie in my ponytail, and we always tried to work together with costuming. You know, they would have like the basic costume, and then they would let the actors kind of bring in a little bit of detail.
Helping John with creating costumes was like this art project. We would go to sports stores and buy like hockey gear and army surplus stores and, you know, just buy pieces and, hey, that works and put some duct tape on it. And Home Depot has this cool rubber piece that we could use for Sector's helmet. And like, it was very do-it-yourself.
But the helmet itself was so back heavy that literally everything that I did was like, it was pulling my head back. And the mask, by doing this, the mask looked like it was looking forward. So I was always kind of doing this with everything, with all my actions.
We wanted it as compact as possible because we didn't want him to look out of proportion.
Yeah.
And so the helmet is really tight.
It must have been torture for, you know,
Right.
8 hours or whatever.
That's where your neck problem.
That's why my neck hurts so much.
I think with the Sonya costume, he was just trying to keep everything in when you're bouncing around.
I think my favorite Sal character is still Nightwolf. He just turns into that guy and like he extends his chin, like he almost like transforms.
Sal, he had no fear. He would just go over the top. He would just insist on trying a move that we were afraid he'd get hurt from.
Throwing himself around.
Yeah, just so committed to it.
You need to look like you're taking pain. You snap your head back, really kind of throw yourself over. And when you fell, you had to look like you were getting hurt. So I would throw myself twisting around as much as I could at a time. Many times I would land, on my neck wrong, land on my back wrong.
Sal would often hurt himself, or not often, but he has a history of hurting himself, trying to get the best performance.
Didn't matter if we were working or if the camera was on or whatever. Like, I just throw my hand out and put my hand on the back of his neck and go wham!
Smack my face
And
into
he'd
it.
fall back onto the floor, and everybody is like, oh my God.
And in fact, I think her and Sal would have like contests with each other to see who can do what better. It was fun watching those two go at it.
They're still good friends to this day.
So if I was gonna hit you hard, I would.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, so it's not the hardness, it's the location.
Reactions, all just in reaction.
With MK2, we were just fully embracing the secret nature of the game. Smoke and Jade were hidden characters. For MK3, the codes were basically just putting it front and center. Like, it wasn't, oh, discover whatever. It was like, here are your secret dials, play with your secret dials.
There's 6 little boxes, 3 of which are controlled by player 1, 3 of which are controlled by player 2. Try different combinations. There's a million possible combinations to see what can be unlocked in the game.
To get the code for Unlimited Run, each player must press low punch 4 times and block and low kick 6 times.
Marketing jumped on that and said, oh, we could do stuff with advertisements and give this magazine these codes and give magazines that code.
By using these symbols, ads will provide clues to codes on MK3 games. It's like a puzzle where one piece is missing. To solve the puzzle, players must go to your location and play the game.
I remember in Mortal Kombat 1 sneaking in Reptile. Reptile was such a big hit that we wanted something in the player's face that was this long string of digits. It encouraged conversation, speculation. When you activated it, from that point on, the game unlocked smoke in the player select screen. And I remember in Mortal Kombat 3 mocking up a purple ninja, and I put the name Rain in there. Purple Ninja, Purple Rain, you know, one of my favorite albums. Just in the attract mode, it wasn't even in the game. I was kind of trolling players and putting like Ermac, you know, like Ermac was really just something for me, an audit, like certain stats that you wanted to know, how many times this character was picked, stuff like that. But everybody thought it was a character, so we made him a character.
Oh shit!
For me, the changes in Mortal Kombat 3 were, it was a little jarring in all honesty. I very much like how 1 to 2 went, where it was, it's everything I wanted, and 3 was, the new mechanics were just, it was different.
I think the Mortal Kombat that threw me the most was 3. 2 felt like it took 1 to the extreme. Everything seemed like Mortal Kombat 1, but more. Mortal Kombat 3 felt like almost like a reboot of the franchise in a weird way.
Nightwolf wins.
And for maybe 15 minutes when I first played it, I was like, this isn't Mortal Kombat. I want to go back to Mortal Kombat 2. And then when I realized I could go into like this insane combo that eventually resulted in someone exploding, I was like, oh, I'm back in. This is Mortal Kombat. This is definitely Mortal Kombat.
It wasn't a surprise to see that they wanted to incorporate a little bit of those dial combo type mechanics into that game, because Killer Instinct was really popular.
I think that was the one that introduced the run button, if I recall.
The run button? Oh my god. Like, that changed so much stuff.
The run button I've never gotten used to this day. I just never find the right way to use it. So I never used the run. So I became a little bit more defensive with MK3.
And I remember the moment when someone punched me through a stage and being like, oh, wait a minute, like the game is like breaking its own fourth wall. And that stuff was cool.
Round 2, fight.
Going back to Mortal Kombat 2 after playing Mortal Kombat 3 with the run button was like going back to Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition after playing Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I could not go back speed-wise. It was so fast, and it felt more aggressive, which is what Mortal Kombat should be.
I got my first speeding ticket racing to go to the arcade before it closed to play Mortal Kombat 3. I was just hauling ass in my 1991 Saturn, which was red, and I thought it was cool. My first car that Jazz Jackrabbit bought me. And, cop pulls me over. He's like, is everything working okay in this car? I'm like, I guess, officer. He's like, well, what about the speedometer? I guess I hit the run button with the accelerator in my car. I think Ed and John still probably owe me $50 for that ticket.
Saw you in the video on that.
Saw me in the video?
Yeah, you were working in your office.
All right, yeah, I know, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I'm famous now.
Yeah.
Hi, Dave. What's up? Probably out of focus anyway.
Well, no, pull away and go higher.
Okay, let's roll. Okay, this is Mortal Kombat 3, and here are 4 of the fighters from Mortal Kombat 3. Our first contestant is... Sonya! Yeah. Sonya Blade, there she is. Yeah. Number 2, Kato. Right. That's Kano. Number 3 is Jax. Yes. Let's go. Yeah. And finally we have Kung Lao. All right, let's hear it for them. They're going to be giving us a little demonstration of martial arts technique. Here we go. We start with Kano and Sonya. Oh, jeez. That's no way to begin a demonstration. Well, I think Sonya is in a little trouble here. She's being tied to a dog. A fate that shouldn't befall anyone. Kano is swelling with pride. He's proud of himself. Yeah. Who will save Sonya? Who will? Ooh, Kung Lao. Lost his pet. Pretty even match. Several punches below the belt there. Ooh, it's Jax. Maybe he'll save Sonya. And Jax saves the day. All right, let's hear it for all of our Mortal Kombat characters. We have Sonya, Kung Lao, Jax, and Kano. Well, we did have Kano. Once we had Kano. Now we have a shell of a man. Let's hear it for him one more time, the Mortal Kombat characters. Thanks, guys. I should let you know that this is the year of Mortal Kombat 3, really. There'll be a lot more than just this game, as if that's not enough. This is really the first element of the year of Mortal Kombat. It begins really today. In addition to this, there will be a making of Mortal Kombat tape that comes out in June. In July, there will be an animated feature that comes out. In August, there will be a feature-length film that comes out from the from the producers of Terminator 2. In September, there will be a live tour that kicks off. It'll go all around the globe and hit more than 200 cities. Also, operators who purchase this game will be getting a free ROM update that will include special new characters, special secret codes, special new backgrounds, and all of that will be coming in September. That will be a free ROM update. But right now, we'll get Ed Boon and John Tobias over here. Hey, Ed, John. And they're going to give us a little demonstration of Mortal Kombat. Ed will explain a little bit more about the codes that we talked about and how those feed everything back into the game.
First, I guess we'll start off with an explanation of the game when you start. On one-player map, you notice here there's 3 towers, 3 different heights, for 3 different degrees of difficulty. You know, a lot of people, some people were so good at Mortal Kombat they would be able to go through the whole game in 1 quarter. Other people couldn't get past the first guy. So we basically set up 3 different levels of difficulty to allow the players for advancing to higher levels. The smallest one also has a lot more hidden characters, etc. Different about this one than the previous one, Mortal Kombat 3. Thank you, Kato.
So who's judged by it?
Hey people, what Jim just mentioned, our code system is something. Oh, actually, here's a fatality. What Jim was just talking about was a code system that we put into the game that you can access through the versus screen in a two-player game. And what these codes do is they enable the player to get to different variations of playing the game. There's all sorts of things like this buried into the game. Again, accessible through the secret codes. And as I was saying, codes are hitting all over the place in ads. In the motion picture, the new light's coming out, and that'll be released in August, and that's a $40 million motion picture. Also,
Mortal Kombat rock!